Hello, and welcome to the Forest Schooled podcast. Today's blog is called Play Theory, Understanding Play Types and How They Relate to Forest School. We're on a ship, she said, and we're going to a desert island. We're out of food, so we have to get some. I just happened to be standing nearby when this 4-year-old girl named Ella had decided that I was to be a character in her imaginary story. I was taken a little off guard as I'd been in the middle of something. So I did what any seriously preoccupied person would do. I abandoned what I'd been doing, put my pretend sailor's hat on, and boarded the supposed ship with her. Ella took the wheel as captain, and we navigated our way to the island. A few moments later, she said, "We are at the island now. We need to get coconuts and bring them to the ship," and ran off without even a glance back. I hesitated briefly, then thought, well, I guess I better go too, so I jogged off after her. Then she stopped and looked up towards the sky. I looked up too. I didn't really know why, but I was trying my best to understand and be in her world. Then she started moving her arms and legs up and down, as if crawling, but in a vertical direction. I stood watching from a short distance away, waiting for a cue of what to do next. She stopped and turned to see where I was. I think she was a bit annoyed that I was standing there looking clueless. She barked, "Come on, here are the coconuts. You need to take them to the ship." I then realized she had been pretending to climb a coconut tree. I took the imaginary coconuts from her and, holding them tightly in my arms, turned around to head back to the ship. But I stopped as I suddenly thought, oh crap, where's the ship? I glanced around and found the spot where we had first started, assuming the ship must still be there. I placed the coconuts down and turned to look at her. "No, not there," she exclaimed. "The ship is here now." "Whoops," I said as I picked up the coconuts and walked over to put them in the correct place this time. Ella took the wheel of the ship again, and we made our way back to sea. Then another 4-year-old girl came over to see what we were up to. She must be a strong swimmer. Those seas were choppy. The play soon morphed into something else, and the ship and all those carefully collected coconuts disappeared. This brief interaction with Ella was a little bit challenging for me. It made me tap into a part of myself that's a little bit rusty, my imagination. Kids are naturally inclined to see and interact with things that aren't really there. They do it all the time, creating incredible imaginary worlds and scenarios. But when you try to do it as an adult, you often feel, well, a little bit crazy. And even when you do throw your ego out the window, it's still really difficult to interpret the world inside a child's head because you can't always see what they see. Hence why I unintentionally deposited the coconuts on the wrong ship or in the middle of the ocean. I'm still not even sure where I put those coconuts. Because we can't always tap into a child's world during play, it can sometimes be difficult to identify or understand how they are playing. I have found Bob Hughes' theory of play types very useful in gaining a better understanding of how and why kids play. Hughes identified 16 different types of play behaviors that children display. Symbolic play, rough and tumble play, sociodramatic play, social play, creative play, communication play, dramatic play, locomotor play, deep play, exploratory play, fantasy play, imaginative play, mastery play, object play, role play, and recapitulative play. These do not necessarily cover all the ways children play, and there's often overlap between 2 or more categories. Nevertheless, understanding these play types can be really helpful when planning, observing, or participating in children's play. However, if you're like me, 16 is a difficult number when it comes to remembering things. That's why I made some resources to help me recall the different play types and how they can be supported at Forest School. I've drawn a scene with characters or objects associated with each of the 16 play types. They are also numbered, which corresponds to a worksheet that has written descriptions of the play types if you want more information about each one. You can download it through the link that's in the description on this podcast. I hope you find it useful. Thank you so much for listening to the Forest Schooled podcast. You can find more at www.forestschooled.com.